Greetings from LA, my dear friends. This is Daisuke, and I very much hope that this video finds you well and in very good spirits wherever you are in the world. And today, if you don't mind, I would very much like to continue on with our journey, our discussions, our discoveries, and our explorations with respect to the recent releases made by the Criterion Collection during this year of 2023. And that brings us to that release, which has been designated by Criterion at spy number 1188. And this is a work which is described as being from the year 1985. And the name of the filmmaker is Wayne Wang. And the name of the work is Dim Sum, A Little Bit of Heart. This is the work which is from the year 1985, and it is a really beautiful, moving portrait work from that great filmmaker artist, Wayne Wang. And this is a screenplay by Terrell Seltzer, based upon an idea by Terrell Seltzer, Laureen Chu, and Wayne Wang, and starring, among others, in its beautiful cast, Laureen Chu and Kim Chu and Cora Miao and Victor Wong and others. This is the work, this great work, so beautiful, so charming, so filled with life. This is the great film Dim Sum, A Little Bit of Heart. And the Criterion Collection this year, on this occasion of 2023, the Criterion Collection has released this work on this new Blu-ray edition physical media release. And it's a really wonderful release, and we'll talk a little bit about the details of this supplements and presentation a little bit later in this video. But first, before we get to those details, if you don't mind, let us first try to endeavor to speak about the plot or story structure of this remarkable achievement, Dim Sum, A Little Bit of Heart. And I think we can do that by focusing in on, say, the characters and the setting and environment. The setting and environment is San Francisco Chinatown area, and focusing in on the Chinese and Chinese American immigrant experience and daily life and ways of life and tradition and modernity and generations and the idea of to life and death and a sense of a modern day homegrown family life and life values and spirituality and belief and also trust and the future and family relationships set against or in the context of these very key and core relationships. So specifically the relationship between mother and daughter, portrayed by Laureen Chu and Kim Chu. This mother and daughter relationship portrayed by the mother and daughter actors here, the performers in this beautiful depiction. And we have also the mother figure, or the matriarch figure, going through a set of, say, real core and significant life related considerations at this point in her life that we meet her at the start of the film. And upon this occasion, the New Year, Chinese New Year setting has brought with it the sense of celebration, the sense of family gathering, the sense of meeting relatives and children and close friends. And we see the various relationships between a mother and various children and the extended family that has grown over the years because of children and grandchildren and the like. And also we have key relationships with, say, the Victor Wong character, and how this also brings about with it the notion of the past, the notion of how one lives one's life in the context of San Francisco Chinese experience and the Chinese American experience, and this is one of the key details early on with the mother figure, the Kim Chu character, and also what could be said to be the maybe the heart and soul or the spiritual center or the spiritual anchor of the film is, as I mentioned, the mother-daughter experience or the mother-daughter relationship, Lauren Chu and Kim Chu's characters, and indeed perhaps one can say their real-life elements are also entering into the film's fabric, because we have moments of, say, the home life and moments of the little beautiful details that make up the daily living of mother and daughter respectively, and also the generational, say, connections and perhaps even differences in terms of expectations of one generation to another. There's a certain discussion or plot or subplot involving the hopes of, say, the mother and the mother's circle of friends of the same generation who are wanting and very vocally wanting the daughter, who is a grown woman, the daughter to want to get married, or they're expecting her to get married. And the idea of expectation of marriage is also bringing to the fore the sort of discussion or introspection or examination of the daughter's own, say, sense of self and sense of existence, and the idea of relationships, and the idea too of maybe either wanting to settle down or what that means to want to quote unquote settle down, and perhaps not even necessarily wanting or not necessarily wanting to settle down or wanting to get married, and perhaps feeling that her impulses in life or her, say, intuitions in life maybe are not bringing her to the same conclusions as her mother's generation seemed to be vocalizing. But at the same time, the core of the relationship, the mother-daughter relationship, has its spiritual and emotional center beating very profoundly and very astutely and very movingly, because the mother obviously loves her daughter, and her daughter obviously loves her mother very much. This is not a story about, say, the tearing of the generational fabric, deep-rooted fights between generations. No, on the contrary, this is a story that is focusing in on differences and differences in expectation, and how those differences in expectation also have their connections with the immigrant experience. Here, specifically San Francisco and Chinatown, those are also brought to the fore with regard to language, how language is used. Sometimes we hear the Chinese or the Cantonese language spoken, but then also within the same conversation, English is used, and also then the response is given in Cantonese. So sometimes there is even this mixture within the same stream of dialogue, which is suggesting not just a clash of, say, languages and cultures, but also in an interesting way how those differences are woven together or sewn together in a way that creates not just a sense of hybrid, but a sense of, say, a real, authentic, lived-in experience. And so this idea of multiculturalism, or this idea of various experiences, life experiences that are coming together to form this, say, new transformative experience called forth in the context of Lauren Chu and Kim Chu's daughter and mother relationship, as represented or as depicted in Dim Sum, A Little Bit of Heart. So this is, I think, a huge type of, say, mix of differing views and values, but never in a state of, say, disenchantment, or never in a state of disagreement, but always in a sense of, say, tension or struggle on the one hand, but also with a lot of caring and heart and soul on the other. And that soul, I think, is brought to life by the beautiful performances by Kim Chu and Lauren Chu and Victor Wong and others. There is a tenderness and a warmth and a comedy beat that is hard to resist, and it's really quite endearing indeed. And also, there is some very delicately handled and masterfully handled aspects having to do with mortality, having to do with the impending sense of death, whether it is wholly imagined, or it perhaps being closer to reality than maybe too close for comfort, as the saying goes, and how that has a direct impact on these generational shifts and life choices and decisions about whether to get married and settle down and leave the household and to instead of caring for the older generation, etc., and what that means for everyone's characters, say, trajectories going forward. I mean, this is a very emotionally resonant type of discussion that is, again, within the context of this beautiful relationship or series of relationships with, at the very center, this mother-daughter relationship. And so the performances are top notch. We have the sense of reality blending into a sense of the narrative. We have the wonderful humorous touches. I mean, there are some great moments. For instance, Kim Chu and Victor Wong's scenes together are just so magical and so lively. And Victor Wong, in particular, for example, just gives just this lovely charm and wit and avuncular, beautiful nature, which is just top notch from the get go. And Lorraine Chu and Kim Chu, their performances and their mother-daughter relationship, both in front of the camera and indeed beyond the camera, gives a sense of groundedness to the film. And we realize too, when the film turns tender, that tenderness is given a sense of grounded in a type of reality in the context of the relationship. And then when the discussion turns to very serious topics or potentially serious topics, when the tears flow, you can sense that these are real, genuine tears. When the laughter enriches and enlivens the soundtrack, you know that these are real, tender moments of laughter and joy. And so there's that magical quality, as I say, the moving portrait quality that Wayne Wang and company bring to this glorious film. What a film this is. And there is a way that it has this sense too of real design and purpose. There is reference within the film's context, and indeed also in some of the in the discussion that is included as part of the supplements here with Wayne Wang. There is reference, for example, to the works of Yasujiro Ozu, the Japanese filmmaker Ozu, in the context of parent-child relationships. Father-daughter relationships, or here in Dim Sum, a little bit of heart, mother-daughter relationships. And also the way that there are shots composed in terms of environment and setting, where we see rooms that used to be occupied by a key figure of the household, but for whatever reason is no longer there. But we sense their presence, but we also sense their absence. And it's the idea, too, of rooms and environments that also speak volumes about the person and the person's life. That really brings to home the fact that we are talking, too, about the real life people and how the environment affects them and how the environment is affected by them. And not only do you see that in the context of intimate spaces like rooms and tables and the sewing machine and other places like that, or the bar, but we also see it in the context of the immigrant experience, the Chinese or Chinese American experience as embodied by this very important and potent and very rich environment that is the San Francisco setting that we find as the very vivid and lifeblood degree backdrop of this film and the character that it also inhabits. So it is a full package of a film. Very beautiful and very touching indeed. The film by Wayne Wang, and this is Dim Sum, A Little Bit of Heart. The Criterion Collection has released this film on this Blu-ray, Dim Sum, A Little Bit of Heart, and again, this is described as being from the year 1985. This is the Blu-ray at spine number 1188, and it's purported to be based on a high-definition digital master of a new director's cut featuring previously unseen footage supervised by director Wayne Wang with uncompressed monaural soundtrack, and it is described as being at 84 minutes. So, and just a number of points here about this. So, dim sum, a little bit of heart. This is, I think, a really this is a film that I saw a number of years back, but I never had it on, say, a DVD or Blu-ray. So this occasion of the Criterion collection really was really moved me to no end. I was so happy when I heard about this, and then news of this description of a director's cut of this has also made me very excited indeed. So, getting to experience this film. And then this particular version of this particular cut, again, in the context of this Criterion release, was also cause for celebration. So I was very happy with this. So, and also, I'd seen it on, say, many years back. So for me and for my eyes and my ears, watching it now on this Blu-ray edition, it is described as a high definition digital master. So, but it looks and sounds the best that I've ever seen it. So this is overall, I think for me, just a stellar release. I'm very pleased with it indeed. I think if I were to make just one maybe or one minor point here, it would be I did notice maybe when there was one or two moments, I think, where the area, the bottom part of the screen, which had the place for the superimposed subtitles, because subtitles were required for me because I don't understand. I'm not fluent in, say, the Chinese language or Cantonese language, so I needed to have subtitles for a number of this for watching this film. And so I did remember that not everywhere, but maybe one or two spots where the subtitling, I think, had, or maybe it wasn't due to the subtitling, but around the area where the subtitling occurred, you could see some places where, say, the grain or the sort of the area where you had especially light colors or light color fabrics that were shown, like the clothing on a character. Sometimes it tended to be have that type of digitized digitized flashy effect. It looked very digitized. So I'm not sure if that has anything to do, as I say, with the way in which the superimposition of the subtitling occurs, or maybe that is something inherent in the master itself. I'm not sure, but I did notice it on, say, one or two instances. A very quick sort of digitized flash look that had this digitized patchwork type of thing. Again, as it occurred on, say, the jeans or the pants of a character or something like that in the bottom part of the screen, very quick. It's almost so quick to be maybe not noticeable. For the most part, but again, as I was looking at the subtitles, it was around that area, so my eye was drawn to those points. So I suppose I'm not sure, again, if that's inherent in this transfer or if it's inherent in the materials themselves, because I don't have the ultimate recall of, and I don't have the expertise in terms of all the release history of this film, unfortunately, to have a frame of reference to be able to recall if that actually existed last time I saw it or not, or many years ago. But it was there, and so I just have to point that out as a very minor point. But it didn't at all distract me from my overall viewing experience of this, which was incredibly pleasurable and incredibly. I felt incredibly moved because it's such a heartwarming experience, and again, it looks and sounds overall great and the best that I've ever seen it. So this is a very exciting release for me in terms of this film, Dim Sum, A Little Bit of Heart. Next, we have the supplements, and I have the Blu-ray in the machine right now, and the Blu-ray menu is on display here. And so let me go down to the supplement section, and we have two supplements. So it might look like it's somewhat small in quantity, being two. But first of all, let's focus in on what they are. And as I say, they have so much life and information, and actually many surprises as well. And I'll get to those points actually right now. So the first supplement is Wayne Wang and Arthur Dong, and this is described as in this interview conducted by the Criterion Collection in 2022, director Wayne Wang and filmmaker and film scholar Arthur Dong discuss Wang's career and the making of dim sum, A Little Bit of Heart. This is approximately 24 minutes, and they're sitting together in the same room face to face. And Arthur Dong is guiding the conversation and asking and giving us or allowing Wayne Wang to then share with us aspects about his sort of personal journey, his biographical detailed background, this idea too about describing the film Dim Sum, A Little Bit of Heart as a very personal film, as a local film. Again, trying to, Wayne Wang describes it so well about how it was very much taking things from real life in terms of, because it was a very independently made film, and so a lot of it has to do with necessity, but a lot of that also has to do with the spirit and philosophy of the film, which is, again, taking things from reality or sort of the personal touch and putting the spotlight on that, because therein lies the heart and soul of the drama. And then also the local aspect of the film, because San Francisco is a very important character and setting in and of itself, and that leads to, again, the overall package, at the center of which being the mother-daughter relationship. And we have two discussions with the performances by the actors, and for example, Laureen Chu, who is in many ways, it's a very, very complex performance and very nuanced, and it has so many sort of pressures from various pockets of the world that is displayed in this work, Dim Sum, A Little Bit of Heart, and it's such a masterful performance, and so it's spoken of here. And then also the connections to, for instance, with Japanese cinema and with Ozu in particular. There's a quote to a film by Ozu, which is assumed to be the film which is called Late Spring. But there are other Ozu films that are referenced to, and also that brings us to the way that the film was shot and certain stylistic devices with that, the way that settings are used. In many senses, Wayne Wang's choices of shots could be said also to be very reminiscent of the sort of the static, still shot of an environment or object in a room or place or setting in an Ozu film, which is referred to as a pillow shot, or the pillow shot technique. And you can say too that Wayne Wang's film Dim Sum, A Little Bit of Heart employs those similar techniques to a very very strong and very emotional sort of conclusive way. So I love this. I love this conversation between the two here. And again, it's a furtherance of an exploration into the world of Wayne Wang, the cinema journey with respect to the works of Wayne Wang. So, and fascinating discussion indeed. So this is 24 minutes, and it's from 2022, the discussion between Wayne Wang and Arthur Dong. And then after that, we have the second of the two, which is Laureen Chu. And this is Dim Sum, A Little Bit of Heart was loosely based on the relationship between actor and Asian American studies scholar Laureen Chu and her mother, Kim Chu, who co-stars with her in the film. In this 2004 interview, Laureen Chu discusses her family, the genesis of the film, and her role as Geraldine. So this is, yes, Laureen Chu and Kim Chu, daughter and mother, and then they portray the daughter and mother-daughter relationship in this great film. And so this 2004 interview with Laureen Chu is so fascinating because, again, she speaks about the origins of the concept of the film and the way in which she was able to become a very key participant in the film, and also her mother as well. And that also brings us to some very interesting surprises within the context and very moving aspects of that are displayed here regarding Lorraine Chu's own life during the film, and as it was maybe related to the story and experiences of the characters in the film, and also post dim sum, a little bit of heart. So we see some aspects, or she describes also some aspects of her life and her family and career at this point in time, circa 2004. So I will save those details and those surprises and those real fascinating aspects of her life for you to watch this great interview if you have not yet done so already. Lorraine Chu, I mentioned it just a moment ago, but her performance is such a powerful performance. I mean, there are moments that are emotionally gut-wrenching. There are moments of wonder and innocence. There's also moments of the daily life and this confusion and questions, and also moments between her and Cora Mao's character, who they have this wonderful relationship, rapport, talking about relationships, talking about sort of the unknown factors and not being sure whether to settle down or not, and the pressures of her mom and her mom's family, that generation, the expectation of getting married, maybe conversations between her and Victor Wong, was also another great performance about their relationship, and this idea of the empty nest, perhaps being a way to relieve her mother of certain, say, burdens and worries concerning her daughter's life, especially as her mother's getting older, etc. So, which is also part of the fabric of the film discussion, life and death and mortality. So this is very much part of and ingrained in Lorraine Chu's own experience and the sort of the reality and the personal touches of the film. And so these are brought to the fore very clearly and very, very beautifully in her words here in this 2004 interview. So please check this out if you can. Lorraine Chu is what a brilliant performance! So well spoken, so clear, and just and a very lovely, lovely interview to listen to. So please listen to this or watch this interview with Lorraine Chu, which is approximately 14 minutes. So please check that out if you can. And so that concludes the supplements on this. So these are great supplements. Don't get me wrong; they're really fantastic. But yes, it would have been nice to have had maybe more supplements. Maybe we could have had other aspects. I don't know. Maybe we could have had some aspects about the other performances. I mean, we do get some discussion about Cora Mao's performance and also Victor Wong's performance in the Wayne Wang interview, the other supplement here. So those are great. You know, Victor Wong, I just have to point out, that is what a what a beautiful character this is. And so but it was nice to see that, and so we get those comments in the Wayne Wang interview. But that being said, it would have been nice to have seen more supplements, maybe more aspects of Wayne Wang's career, maybe other aspects of, say, films from this period of the 1980s, and how Wayne Wang's filmography fits into that perspective. Maybe an academic related supplement or discussion. That would have been fascinating. We didn't get that. That doesn't take away from the brilliance of what we do get. So please don't get me wrong. I really enjoyed these two interviews, but again, it would have been nice to have seen others, or maybe a commentary track. Who knows? But in any event, while it might seem on paper to be somewhat lacking, it might have been benefited with more supplements or a commentary track, etc. Still, I do want to emphasize that we get so many pieces of information in this series of interviews, and then the film itself guiding us through a journey and watch and rewatch of the film itself. So I encourage you to watch these supplements because they are really, really great. And I don't want to take away from the greatness that are these interviews with Lorraine Chu and with Wayne Wang. So please check those out if you can. And then let's speak about the cover art design and other aesthetic aspects of this, as well as the fold out. And I've already taken the liberty of removing the fold out prior to the start of the recording of this video. But first of all, before we get to the fold out, let's talk about the aesthetic choices for the cover art design as carried over into the Blu-ray menu here. It's also in the cover, or in the fold out itself. This is very cool. This is very cool indeed. This drawing, this illustration, I'm so sorry, my presentation skills are lacking as always, so it's hard to make out. But the drawing here is a very key detail of the house and the shoes that are by the door. And this is also remarked upon by Wayne Wang in his interview by Arthur Dong. This is so great. I love these illustrations, and you can see also illustrations as part of the Blu-ray menu, and also you can see illustrations here as part of the fold out here. So well done for this. I should point out the art. The art is credited to art director Sarah Habibi, Eric Skillman, illustration Josh Cochran, designer Eric Skillman, art production coordinator William Breeze, and art assistant Julie Sussman. So this is, I love too the font, the font with the, I'm not sure what the name of this font is, but I like this. It has a very quaint and very it has this endearing quality to it, and so I really like this very much. You know, the lowercase lettering, so very cool indeed. And then I should point out to the fold out. So I'm not a fan of the fold out. I've mentioned before, but I'll say it again. I'm not a fan of the fold out, but it does have the benefit of the drawings, and so the artwork aesthetic is carried over through into this fold out, which is lovely. And then also there's the essay by Brian Hu, which is called Family Style. Excuse me here. That's the essay, Family Style. It's a great essay. My strong suggestion, like with other Criterion release essays, is to watch the film first. Watch the film first, and then you can watch it once, twice, many times in fact, and then after you've seen the film at least once, then you can read this great essay, because it touches upon very specific points about Wayne Wang and his career in the film. Dim Sum, oh, it's great. So please check out the essay if you can again upon or after watching this great film, which is Dim Sum, A Little Bit of Heart. And so my dear friends, so these are my comments about this release from Criterion. It is, I think, a reliable release from Criterion of a lovely, lovely film. And I'm so glad to see this film emerge in the physical media catalog. Another great example of Wayne Wang's work and drive, and the wonderful performances that we spoke about, and the wonderful aspects and the richness of it. This is such a beautiful, moving film indeed. So please, please watch this film if you have the opportunity. I know you will enjoy it. This is the work which is Dim Sum, A Little Bit of Heart. All right, my dear friends, so that's it for now. And so until we meet again, please be happy and healthy and well. And please keep on watching a lot of great, great, great movies, including Wayne Wang's film, Dim Sum, A Little Bit of Heart. So until the next video, my dear, dear friends, stay strong, stay safe, and cheers.